Hi there, and welcome to the Nourished Mamas Podcast, where nutrition, weight loss, and motherhood meet. I'm Mallory, a registered dietitian, mom, and founder of Daily Habits Nutrition. Around here, you'll find practical nutrition advice, sustainable weight loss strategies, meal planning shortcuts, and honest conversations about motherhood, business, and building healthy habits that actually fit your life. Whether you're navigating postpartum, perimenopause, trying to lose weight naturally, or using a GLP-1 medication, or maybe you just want to feel more energized and confident in your body, you're in the right place. My goal is to help you take the guesswork out of healthy eating, simplify nutrition, and show you that lasting change does not come from perfection. It comes from the small daily habits that add up over time. So grab your coffee, head out for a walk, fold that pile of laundry, or settle in for a few minutes just for you. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to the Nourished Mamas Podcast. I've got my cat Gimli here, so if you hear him meowing or causing a ruckus, you know why. But again, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're going over why the scale is going up even when you're doing everything right. And honestly, it is one of those things that comes up a lot in coaching because our bodies don't always agree with the scale and it's not giving us the most information. And really, the scale doesn't give you that much of an indication of what is changing. So if you have been consistent with workouts, you've been consistent with eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, balanced snacks to keep your blood sugar stable, and you're doing all of those things, but you're not seeing the scale move, it's because the scale is a measure of mass. It does not look at body fat, and it does not look at the recomposition or changes that may be going on in your body. And it can be absolutely maddening because for example, I went from September last year all the way through about, I want to say April or May of this year with building out my habits. I stopped drinking. I started making sure I had very consistent meals with protein, getting enough fiber, having all of the things going, strength training 4 days a week. Like, it was very, very intentional. I was walking my dog a couple miles every single day. Like, it was not changing though. And the scale just kept staying exactly where it was for months. And by watching not only the scale, but also photos and other measurements, so like taking I can't remember what they're called. My cat is distracting me. The tape measures. By taking a tape measure and measuring like your hips, your waist, your thighs, your arms, that is somewhere where you can see change even when the scale is not working. And then there's also that maddening thing of working through very consistent health changes. You've been moving your body, you're doing everything right, and then suddenly you're up 2 to 3 pounds. And there are some very influential things that happen with the scale that don't tell you anything about body fat. Whether that is because you ate more salt than you usually do and you are having either restaurant meals or an electrolyte and you're having some water retention. Or maybe you had more carbohydrates, and so your body is storing water because of that this week. Your menstrual cycle as a woman will almost guaranteed change how much water your body is retaining. And so you may see the scale go up right before your cycle and then not go down again until after it's finished. That's very common. Depending on where things are at in your digestive tract, your scale may go up. 1 to 5 pounds of fluctuation is very normal day to day. And it has nothing to do with whether or not you are gaining or losing fat in that moment. That is why we look at trends over time. And for those of you who are on a weight loss journey and you're wondering, why is the scale stuck? Why does it keep going up? It likely isn't anything to do with actual fat gained, but really just having more water on your body in that moment. Maybe you have more inflammation. A hard workout can temporarily affect the scale, especially if you're weightlifting, because it increases inflammation. Your body is storing more water to help your muscles heal. travel, sleep changes, any kind of change in your routine may affect that number, but that doesn't mean you're automatically gaining fat. So if it's going up very quickly over like 2 or 3 days, most likely it's a natural fluctuation. So if we're looking at the trends over time and you're seeing the scale completely stall like I was, that may mean that the fat is shifting, you're gaining muscle, you may be starting to see like you're not actually in a calorie deficit. I believe firmly that that's where I was, even without drinking 200 to 400 extra calories a day. I was still doing a lot of snacks, especially when my husband would get home from work at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Like I would eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then he would come home and I'd have a second dinner. And that's not that uncommon when you have a spouse that works a different shift than you do. I see that pop up quite a bit for people whose partners come home later in the day. And so that's something to really consider too, is like, what is your routine actually looking like? And do you have some hidden calories there that you're not accounting for? Because that was definitely something that was happening for me. So the scale does give you some data, but it is not giving you a grade. So one thing that I do want to make sure you take away from this episode is that one weigh-in does not determine the rest of your weight loss story. And a lot of the time, when you're looking at measurements, when you're looking at your habits, when you're looking at how things are going with protein, with fiber, that's all going to tell you a story, and we can really pinpoint what's going on with the scale based on where you're at in that journey and what's going on. So if you are looking for exactly what to work on next and you're feeling stuck, you're feeling like the scale hasn't changed, you don't understand why, go ahead and take my personalized weight loss roadmap quiz. It's going to tell you exactly the next steps for wherever you're at in your journey. So it will separate you out into a very personalized roadmap for you, depending on if you are postpartum, perimenopause. If you're on a GLP-1, I have a roadmap for that, because that is something that I'm seeing come up more and more. And it really just depends on your life and where you're at, what your sleep is looking like, your schedule, your stress levels. Like, there's so many different things that can play a role in what the scale is doing. So that's where that personalized roadmap really comes in. So I'll drop the quiz link below so that you can take that quiz, get your personalized roadmap. And if you have any questions, please send them over to me. You can reach me on Instagram at Mallory Younglove, or if you do grab the roadmap, you'll be right there in the Nourished Mamas community, where you can directly send me a message in there, and I can respond to you there in the community as well. So thank you again so much for coming and listening to this episode of the Nourished Mamas Podcast. I hope it was helpful in seeing what is going on with the scale, why it may not be moving even when you are doing everything right. And we can definitely go over more of these types of things in future episodes. If you have any requests or any questions that you want me to answer here on the podcast, send those my way too, and I can definitely go through some of those with you on here as well. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you next week.